This is Fountain
Every
Street
week I find
Church.
it hard to find the best ones, but somehow, like I said, you'll hear what I'm trying to say even when the words
Here,
aren't right.
we strive to free the mind, grow the soul, and change the world. Here, there is freedom to doubt and freedom to believe. Here, you can find a house of prayer for all people.
The swallow up Jonah.
Welcome to Fountain Street Church. Join us on the journey.
I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most to grow if we let them, and we help them in return. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I'm who I am today because I knew you.
Like a comet goes the orbit as it passes the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, I have been changed for good. It well may be that we will never meet again in this lifetime. So let me say, so much of me is made of what I learned from you. You'll be with me, like a handprint on my heart. And now whatever way our stories end, I know you have rewritten mine by being my friend. Like a ship gone from its mooring by a wind off the sea, like a sea dropped by a skyward in a distant wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? Because I knew you. Because I knew you. I have been changed for good. And just to clear the air, I ask forgiveness for the things I've done you blamed me for. But then I guess we know there's blame to share, and none of it seems to matter anymore. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? I do believe I have been changed for the better.
So I lost my patience this week. Does that ever happen to you? You know, when you get a little cranky? I was on 28th Street, and I was heading to get gasoline at Costco. We got great gasoline prices. And if you don't know, there's a little a lane that's also part of the Arby's. And I'm going down that lane, and suddenly someone's coming out of the Arby's and pulls right in front of me because they want to get on 28th Street. And he's waving at me to go around him like I'm going to get back into traffic. And I just went, I was very, fool, idiot. Go ahead, God. And instantly regretted it. Not for several reasons, one of which is he can't hear me. Second of which is that all it did was make me feel worse. And third, I'm sure I would have done the same thing if I was in his position, so why am I yelling at myself on a different day? But what really bothered me is that I have really not lost my patience recently. My long pilgrim passage overseas really did kind of lower the temperature, and that felt really good. And I want to stay there. So I'm trying to be proactive. That happened this morning. I already mentioned it. I went outside. It was about 6 o'clock. It's dark, which is a shame, but there's supposed to be a meteor shower, and there wasn't that I could see. But I didn't feel disappointed. I wasn't angry. I said, I haven't seen Orion for the longest time. Oh, there's the belt. Little sword. And I remembered when I was a Boy Scout and would look outside my tent, and there was the sky up there, and it was the repository of all possibilities. I haven't looked at the sky often enough. I need help to look at the sky. You need to help me. Because if a sermon does its job, we end up looking at the stars. May these words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be found true in thy sight, thou who art my rock and redeemer. So last week, you remember I had wet feet, wet, dirty feet, trudging along through the north of England, squish, 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 squish. And I reached a point as I got to what is called the Housesteads Fort, which is a ruined Roman fort that's right on the wall, when the terrain began to change, and it was no longer pastures and woods, it became hills. And I mean big hills, steep hills, because the wall that I'm following, Hadrian's Wall, doesn't go down in the valley. No, it runs the ridge of these escarpments and crags. Anyone here ever see is it Kevin Costner movie about Robin Hood? Remember that? Well, there's a scene in it which you see a large tree between two hills. It's very picturesque. It's called Sycamore Gap. I guess it's a sycamore. Remember how steep those hills were? Those are the ones I'm walking over. And on the day that I'm walking there, it's been raining. And I don't know about you, but hills don't get easier to climb or easier to descend when they're wet. And so I did something. I found use. I packed something I've never had to pack before, and I was so glad I did. I had a walking stick. It actually had a little rubber tip on it when I started, but I put it in the mud once, and it just sucked it right off. You learn something new every day. But I'm glad to have the pointy bit, because as I got to these hills, I literally, as I'm going down them, have to put it in front of me so I don't literally fall down onto the rocks. And as I'm going up, I put it here and push up and I climb. This became essential. I'm a pretty able-bodied guy. I walk 6 miles a day. I can bench press some stuff, but I couldn't do it without this. I just want to plant that notion in your head. because I'll come back to that. That day when I started climbing those hills and going through Sycamore Gap, I finished my walk and had to make my way to a bed and breakfast, an inn. It was a mile away according to the directions, and my directions were in my phone, so I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it like this. And it's raining, so my glasses are getting, and it says, go about 1 kilometer north on this road. So I start walking up the road. Now, after 3 days, I know 1 kilometer in my feet. I know it really well. And at some point, I said, I've been going about 1 kilometer, and there's nothing there.